Hey Starseeds, it's Rainbow, and I am always looking for ways to empower women to follow their dreams. If one of your dreams has been to start a podcast, let me tell you how I'm doing it. My secret tool is Anchor. It is free, and there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all the major platforms. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's been close to 2 years, I think, since I connected with you live. So it's October 3rd, 2022, and Holler Ghosts, my last album, is turning a year old at the end of the month, and I just accessed this account for the first time in 100 years and discovered this beautiful interview that has been sitting in draft form for a year now. Amy Harmon of Little Sister Radio at Berea College interviewed me in regards to the record, and you can hear that whole thing here. Note that when the interview plays Luna Moth, there's some timing discrepancies to avoid the curse words, which are not eligible for Berea College Radio. But I love you. We got big things in the works. I'm coming back. I'm back, baby.
You're listening to Little Sister Radio on Berea College News and Radio.
Tell me one time you ain't been let down. Build up your fantasy, now he's wearing your crown. Oh, but he's not what he seems, and the police arrive on the scene. All the neighbors say you must be out of your mind. Oh, when hope springs eternal, we should need to come back to who we used to be sometime. We used to be sometime. I was sick of not speaking my mind. Lord, a good man is hard to find. Lord, a good man is try. Lord, a good man is hard to find. 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 It's like this. The women give birth to, 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 the women give birth to all the earth, and the men do all the killing. The women give birth to, 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 the women give birth to all the earth, and the men do all the killing. It's been this way for such a long time. Lord, a good man is hard to find. Lord, a good man is hard to find. And it seems to me a cruel design. Lord, a good man is hard to find. Lord, a good man is hard to find. Lord, a good man is hard to find. Lord, a good man is hard to find.
You are listening to Little Sister Radio on Berea College News and Radio. My name is Amy Harmon, and I have the very distinct pleasure of being with the one and only Rainbow Star, who happens to reside in Berea. And today is the big release of her new EP, Holler Ghosts, today, October 29th. And she is here with me in my home studio, and we are going to explore this EP, learn about Rainbow. But Rainbow, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Happy birthday, Amy.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and it's extra special that this album is getting released on my birthday, almost like a little present, but I know that it's a present for so many other people. So to get us started, I would love for you to share with the audience at home sort of how you came into being a musician and what drives your passion for music.
So, yeah, also, y'all just heard A Good Man Is Hard to Find from the upcoming record. I think my parents gave me a little tape cassette recorder when I was 3, and there's a picture of me on my 3rd birthday with a hip jutted out, like, singing into the microphone, and that was the cause of many an hour of playtime. And then when I was in college, had like a duo. You know, I learned how to play guitar when I was 16. I took like 1 lesson and then was self-taught the rest of it. And then, yeah, had a little duo in college, and for whatever reason, decided that my guitarist was much better at guitar than I was. He'd had like 8 years of lessons, and my perfectionism told me that I wasn't good enough, so I quit for 13 years. And after a 13-year perfectionism-induced songwriting hiatus, I was here in town, and a woman that I was at her house, and she was playing dulcimer, and I was just captivated. I'd never heard anyone play dulcimer before, and she was like, "Come over here, and I'll show you how to play a song." And so she showed me how to play Boiled M Cabbage, and then she was like, "If I loan this to you, will you play it?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." So I had that dulcimer for a couple years, and I wrote my first 2 albums on it, as well as pick back up my guitar, the first one that I had when I was 16 at that point. And yeah, just like a whole 2 albums of songs flooded out. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember a story you told me once, too, that you rented out, was it your ukulele from the library here in town?
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating, especially for maybe the students who are listening to this. If you want to learn how to play an instrument, the public library here in Berea actually rents out instruments.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, how much to never give it back to you? And they were like, is $30 okay? I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit more into the song that we just heard, A Good Man is Hard to Find. What's the background on that song? Who did you collaborate with, or any other information that you want to share about it?
Yeah, so you hear the voice of Faye Adams-Eaton, who used to be the manager of the farmer's market here in town. Her beautiful, light British accent there. You hear her in the background, but it's a song about domestic violence and surviving domestic violence, to be perfectly content being single, very single for a very long time, and being very isolated. The beginning says, never been so alone before and I don't mind, never stayed so at home before and I don't mind. This was pre-pandemic when I wrote this song, but it's even more poignant now than ever. And the bridge, the women give birth to all the earth and the men do all the killing. It's just so much more and more poignant as every day goes by, and more news stories of men murdering women and getting away with it. So, it's pretty pertinent.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about how you go about writing a song, and kind of what is your inspiration for, this EP especially, but sort of how did it come together? Like, did you have these ideas about the topics that you wanted to cover in general, or just maybe talk a little bit more about your songwriting process?
Highly unintentional is my song. Is fully, I have no control over it whatsoever. I don't understand when people who can sit down and write a song on purpose. I don't get it. Because I feel 100% at the whims of my fairy muses, who deliver songs to me, usually intact. If not intact, it's always the chorus first. It's always the chorus, oddly. And then a lot of times the bridge will come and anyway, so yeah, and it's usually in beta state. So like first thing when I wake up, a couple days ago, I started writing a song first thing when I woke up. Your brain's in that, like, you get out of the way so that some kind of higher consciousness can come through. When I was vacuuming a lot, when I was housekeeping here in town, I would write songs all the time. I wrote a song when I was pressure washing. That's how it comes.
So it's sort of happening as you're going about your day-to-day life. And then when you have an idea, do you take out like a voice recorder and then capture phrases or lyrics, or? Yeah,
so I don't do music theory. It makes me want to cry when people start talking about music theory to me. I actually audited a class, a music theory class, at Berea a couple years ago, and I quit. I quit about before the final. I would just sit there in class and cry. I don't get it. But so yes, I record video of me playing so that I know how to play. I used to write down just I don't even know what chords I'm playing, so I just write down what fret on what string. And then this album and the previous album were recorded using the voice recorder app on my phone, which is what I use to capture ideas as they come in.
So awesome.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm glad you think so.
It is. It's like that creative process that I'm sure is very different for everyone, but they have a system that kind of works for them and things. And so for the listeners too, I'm looking at this EP. I have it in my hands right now. The album artwork is just absolutely beautiful. Can you kind of talk me through what I'm looking at here and sort of where things came from? Yeah, so Mallory Blair, now it's Mallory Clapsaddle Photography. She's out of Louisville, and she and I were fast friends at photography school in UK in 2005. I think I met her when I was going to school there. And we reunited after, I hadn't seen her in probably almost 15 years. And we reunited and shot this at Boonesboro State Park. There's the beach there down by the river, and there's this sacred sycamore. And so we're looking at the back cover right now. This sacred sycamore is so magical. If you go, please respect this sacred sycamore. I'm telling you where this is in giving you lots of it's a lot for me to bestow this information upon you right now. So please treat it carefully. So this sacred sycamore is dying, and so you can crawl between these huge roots that are standing on the beach and stand up inside of it and do magic in there because it's hollow inside because it's dying. And I am assuming,
disrespectful man, because in my experience men are the ones who do destructive things like this, has sawed off parts of the roots. And so on the back cover there's me standing next to one of these sawed off roots, topless, with my sawed off removed breast from my mastectomy, and then I had like an infection and had to have it removed again. So I'm there's like the tree has this like circle missing right next to my circle that's missing on my chest, and it's very poignant.
That is incredible as you describe it, and I'm looking at this and it's sort of all coming together, because I know you overcame so many challenges in the last couple of years while you were creating this project. And how did you do that? How did you somehow, and I don't know what you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
You just did share about a mastectomy, but I find your journey to be incredibly inspiring in terms of your resilience and just putting one foot in front of the other through this process. And maybe it's good for folks to hear about your journey, because it could really help someone who maybe has similar challenges. But anything that you'd like to...
Psychiatric medication is really helpful. I'm grateful for the healthcare system. Like yesterday I had a moment where I wasn't gonna I was like told that I couldn't have my medication, and I'm like, dealing with more medical stuff right now, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this winter if I can't have my anti-anxiety, antidepressant. I cannot live without it. And then today they're like, oh, we were wrong. You're getting your drugs. I'm like, okay, now I can live. And really, I had a friend this morning asking, like, how do you do that? I'm like, you just keep, I don't know. You just keep going, I guess. That's, and I've heard people say, oh, I couldn't do what you're doing, or I don't know how you're doing it. Well, in my experience, like, you deal with the cards that you're dealt, like, I think you could do it. If you were dealt this hand that I've been dealt, you would deal with it. That's what we do as humans. That's how we're resilient. That's how we've gotten to where we've taken over the entire freaking planet. Like, humans are resilient and adaptable.
Wow.
And you have to do that or you die, really. Just to be really dramatic.
No, I think that's good for us to think about, because sometimes you do feel like, how would I ever do that? But when you're faced with it face to face, you just do it. And sometimes you process it later, but at the end of the day, we're capable of handling so much more than we could ever give ourselves credit for.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. And you are a fierce feminist Appalachian folk punk princess.
Yes, ma'am.
So I wouldn't expect anything else. And I'd like to, continue diving into this new album. So the next song we're going to hear is Luna Moth. So what can you tell us about this song?
I realized later, I'll just be super real with you, I realized later that I developed an infatuation for a friend as my mom was dying from cancer, and I wrote this song because I knew I could see myself doing it at the time. Like, just one dude who's like nice to me. It doesn't take much. The bar's really low. Like, men have been so awful that it's like, this is how low the bar is. So it was nice to me. And so I was physically sick, and that's what the song says. It makes me sick, you're leaving. It makes me sicker, I want you to stay. But I was also realizing at that time I was like physically driving around, and this song was in my head, and then I saw a Luna Moth in the road, and I was actually sick because my mom was sick, and I would do this a lot when she was had cancer, and I would get sick when she was sick, and we had this connection. So anyway, that's, I guess, all you need to know.
Here's Luna Moth.
Ever been overcome by knowing you were gonna die? Damn it, I was so sure there were none left. Damn it, I was sure you were already past or just stupid. Damn it, I was so sure there were none. Makes me sad. Makes me sad. Girl, I want you to stay. Makes me sad to want anything. Oh, but I can't say. And you know I got soft hearts, and I'll be a little moth in the row. And I know you got soft hearts, and you'll be a little moth in the row. Damn it, I was so sure there were none left. Your jewels flowing out, jewels flowing out, rust on your skin. Oh, your jewels flowing out, your jewels flowing out, rust on your skin. Ah, your jewels flowing out, and your jewels flowing out, rust on your skin. I will put you in my shrine. 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 I'll 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 put you in my
You are listening to Little Sister Radio on Berea College News and Radio. I'm Amy Harmon, and I'm here with the incredible artist Rainbow Star, who has just released a brand new EP today, Holler Ghosts, and that was Luna Moth off the album. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done on that song.
Thanks.
It's very powerful. And speaking of power, you have so many passions in life, and I'm always really inspired by your life and how you live your life and the things that bring you joy. Like, I have viewed you as someone who doesn't follow anything, anybody else is doing, but you really created your own path. And I'm just wondering if you could share more about your passions in life. And
Are you talking about the Rainbow Sparkle Palace?
well, yes, I love Rainbow Sparkle Palace. I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate on Rainbow Sparkle Palace?
So it's, it's my tiny house, my 96 square foot tiny home here in the outskirts of Berea in the woods. And until today, I did not have indoor plumbing for 7 years, just the outhouse. And as of today, I have an addition in my house and a flush toilet. And tomorrow I'll be able to take a bath in a bathtub indoors. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited. But yeah, I've lived out there very rustically for 7 years. And it's hard, like, once or twice a winter without indoor plumbing. Once or twice a winter, I'd be like, I don't have indoor plumbing. It gets hard occasionally, but for the most part, it's fine, and it's simple.
What inspired you to begin living in that way?
Well, first I was a prepper. I was afraid that everything was gonna go, to hell in a handbasket, and then I was just severely impoverished. So, I mean, you do what you have to do, really.
Let me describe this place for you all listening. So you drive up, and it really is the Rainbow Sparkle Palace. She has turned the outdoors into a magical living space where, picture this, there's this sweet cottage with an outdoor dining area complete with all this magic everywhere you looked, like little pinwheels and little positive sayings and symbols, and she had a little table with a little umbrella outside where she'll serve you tea, like sun tea, and she's got this awesome setup. I know you just got, the toilet and the bath and things like that, but prior to that, she had an outdoor bath, and she had a super awesome composting toilet and an outdoor shower. And seriously, if you love nature and you're in tune with nature, this would be the ideal living situation. Plus, I can't even imagine what it must be like at nighttime with the stars and being in touch with just more natural things, which we seem to get really separated from in our current lives. So
my home is everything to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of magic done in those woods.
Yeah.
With my kitty cats.
I was going to say she has these awesome kitty cats that are also pretty magical.
Yeah.
And that when you go visit, you feel just Rainbow's intentionality behind, like, you definitely feel your intentionality behind everything. So I appreciate you having me out there, and just really neat. And you've chosen Berea as your home. Do you want to talk about that at all in terms of why you like living in Berea?
Yeah, well, I wrote a song called Berea. My daddy named Little Pine Valley Drive. In the 80s, I grew up here until I was like 9 or 10, and then we left, and it was brokenhearted. I was brokenhearted when we left. So, just the woods and being safe in nature is everything to me. So, yeah.
And you left Berea and you came back, so thanks for coming back.
I mean, thanks for still being here.
Well, I had left, and when you were here, when I got back, which was really cool, because I don't think you were here when I was here before, because we came back 4 years ago, and had left in 2008. So I think we just missed each other somehow or another, but glad you're back. And you add so much to the community here, and that's very awesome to have that part of you that's very intertwined with the community and things like that. So, okay, so we're going to play another song off the EP, Holler Ghosts. This is the title track. I'm very excited to hear you unpack this song and what it means to you and how it came about.
Yeah, so any guess? I want to hear you guess what's a holler ghost.
I mean, being a believer in ghosts, oh gosh, we're coming into Halloween weekend as well. Yeah. I would think probably like stories that gets passed through the countryside, potentially on and on through generations. That's my little guess.
So, holler ghosts, in my holler, there are these dogs that holler, and it echoes through the holler. And like when they get going, they sound like ghosts, and it's one of the first things I noticed there. And I was staying out at the Sisters of Loretto convent, where I stay by myself, take a silent meditation retreat and fast for a few days every year. And I heard the coyotes out there for the first time, and I wrote Holler Ghosts there, and it's it's a song about longing for a love, and I love this song.
Yeah. Tell me more about the silent retreat, because I've never done something like that.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
I mean, I already live in the woods by myself, but I go deeper in the woods to be more by myself and turn off my phone and leave it in the car and tell everybody, leave me alone. So,
what does it feel like? Like, when does it start to set in that you're not talking? And
immediately. So like the last time I went out there, I put my phone in my car, I bring my stuff in and my instruments, and as soon as I set foot in the house, I start getting downloads of poetry and music. It's like the muses are like, okay, everything's quiet now, you can hear us.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
I think that would be good to do. I think it takes a certain amount of self-control, maybe, or what does it take to do that? Because right now our lives are so constantly inundated with information and visual, emotional, like everything's coming from external. Like, what does it take, or how do you prepare for something like that?
I mean, I guess I do have a fair amount of discipline. I've been accused of that, although I've often felt like I don't have as much as I want, but also watched The Social Dilemma on YouTube. I watched that and I was like, I'm buying a home phone. I am downgrading my plan. I'm going to leave my phone in my car. Like, do not try to text me. I'm done with this.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Leaving social media soon after this record's out, at least Facebook and Insta. So
I guess that's what's hard about it too, is that all of the marketing communication stuff is so linked to social media. I mean, you can't even get invited to events if you don't have social media or know what's going. So I hope that there's the possibility that something else will emerge that would be more lo-fi, that could bring us back together without, because then when you take a break from social media, I know I feel excluded from, like, I don't have all the information, what's happening, because I took like a year off Facebook, which was back when only Facebook it was only Facebook, and Instagram was just sort of coming in to focus, but it's funny, when I got back on after that year, it was the same people posting the same things.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh yeah, there's Billy Bob posting about, I don't know.
Government.
Yeah, or something.
Cool.
I was like, wow, I don't know that I missed that much.
Cool story, bro.
But then I also had, John, who would tell me, like, oh yeah, there's an event tonight at such and such, but I wouldn't have known. So it was kind of cheating in a way.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what kind of courage we'll all have to have as a collective to walk away from it, but and I know in sociology, as a Berea College student, like, you learn that technology changes so fast and it has an impact on us before we know the result of what that's going to be. We don't know it until it's too late. So I admire you, because I remember recently you did just get the home phone and then keeping your cell phone out in the car or something. I was like, I might need to try that.
Yeah.
I think that's something valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very valuable. Okay, well, without further ado, let's listen to Holler Ghosts. We kind of got us off track a bit, but here's Holler Ghost.
Every night it's just the same. Them holler ghosts that know your name. I'm calling for you. Ooh, I'm calling for you. Ooh, I'm calling for you. Just me. Ain't coyote. Just me. I'm calling for you. Ooh, I'm calling for you. Ooh, I'm calling for you. Like an angel, you came to me, just a person by the trees. Oh, like an angel, you came to me out of the wood. I remember by the lake, I remember everything. Oh, I remember by the lake. I'm calling for you. Ooh, 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 I'm calling for you. And it falls on buried branches on the oldest trees. I beg them, please return to me. Silent mind lies all buried deep amid desires for a dream that couldn't be. Every night it's just the same. Them holler ghosts that know your name. I'm calling for you. Ooh, 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 I'm calling for you.
You are here with Rainbow Star and Little Sister Radio, just reviewing her brand new EP that was released today, Holler Ghosts. And we just heard the title track, Holler Ghosts. So I'm curious, during that track, I mean, really picked up on the cello. And of course, you have cello throughout the album. Tell me about that. And I know you love cello, but tell me about why you love cello and then maybe who was playing on these songs.
Yeah, so that was Natasha Jaffe, found her through Fiverr. All my cellists I found through Fiverr. And you also heard Tyler Devall singing backing vocal there. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, cello, it rips your heart out. It, like, goes right through your chest. There's something, like, mournful and, like, so just deep and, like, nostalgic about cello. I just love it. It's perfect. I would eat it up. So what I would often do, too, is I would layer, like, 3 or 4 cello tracks on each of these. So, because I love cello that much. I just want to make all the cello. More cello. We need more cowbell. We need more cello.
Picture you in a room with, like, 5 or 6 cellos around you playing right now.
In ecstasy.
That's really cool. So what do you hope that the album accomplishes, if anything? Maybe you hadn't set out to have it accomplish anything, but...
I mean, it got me through a really hard time. It was the light at the end of the tunnel last year after my mom died, and then I was diagnosed with breast cancer after, like, having a preventative mastectomy, and it was the light at the end of the tunnel. So, yeah, it's already served its purpose. It pulled me through what I was going through to like just keep on keeping on living life. And so there we have it. I have a question for you. You were about to tell me earlier what you think this album sounds different from my previous albums. I want to hear why.
Yes, so this is the third time that Rainbow has been in the Little Sister Radio studio. And this is, the third album, which is just incredible that you would have this body of work now. And I feel that has been an evolution of your work in so many ways. And I was saying earlier that there is a directness, a realness, that, well, in the description, it says that this album is sure to delight and offend, which I found like so fascinating, because I feel like there are definitely songs that that cause you to unpack it, maybe, or it stimulates you to think about what it was that prompted that in the song that was so direct, and maybe more packing groups of people into, categories that maybe I hadn't heard before, like men specifically. So because I think it sort of catches you off guard in a way that helps you to think more deeply about the issues that you're singing about. So I don't know if and I think maybe from my own experience of definitely, like, any of the negative things that have happened in my life has been from a man, causing that. But at the same time, I have like awesome men too.
You do.
So
this is a really good one.
Yeah, so it's kind of like sometimes I found myself shying away from some of the songs, only from maybe more of a PTSD standpoint of like that brought up something in me that I'd rather forget almost. So which I didn't really feel. I didn't get that reaction from your other albums. Not that that's a bad thing, because I think it just is highlighting perhaps the extra little, stick into the point, like
Amy's twisting her finger right now like she's got a knife that's jabbed in someone's guts, just for y'all. You can't see this.
And so I would highly recommend the listeners listen to the full album, because there's a couple songs that
you can't play on
we're
the
not
radio.
able to share, but or I could share them, but
I'm pretty sure you can't do that and still stay on the radio. No.
So go out and listen to this. It's on, and maybe that I don't know if you have any reaction to what I said before I move on, but
no. No. So I guess what I'm hearing the difference is that this album makes you think more deeply in a way that the others didn't. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah,
the provocative nature of it does, and you said it so perfectly, like in that one phrase too. It's join the movement before they ban it.
Yeah. And
that is maybe something that you might have, part of the conversation might be that. So yeah, I think it's, I don't want to say brave's not the word that's coming to mind, but more like the authenticity and respect for your muse and what is, like, this is leading somewhere, and you're always so attentive to that muse. You know what I mean? So I think it's like following the universe path for your music in a way that could, has potential positive and negative responses. So
yeah, for sure.
So for that, I'd say good job.
Thank you.
And I'm thankful to be your friend through it. You know what I mean? Like, to cheer you on and encourage people to listen and
thank you.
Come up with their own thoughts about it. So, so long answer to a short question.
Love it.
But what are you excited about for the future?
So I haven't really shared this with anyone yet, but I'm thinking about taking a whole nother path and changing my name, my artist name, and everything. And more to be revealed in the future. So I may come back as someone else in the future.
My eyes are so big right now. I'm so excited for this. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Very cool.
For several reasons. One, like the death threats I've gotten recently on a song whose name I can't say on the radio. Just the bans that I've gotten for the last like 2 or 3 years that have made it, honestly, it feels impossible to really get my music out there. Like I studied digital music marketing for 3 years, and then all the ways that I know how to do it, and I've like taken the courses. I'm continuing to take courses, and my stuff will not get out there because of things, including songs on this record that are, you know, big red flags for I don't know, the powers that be controlling the social media. And so yeah, it's I've got to find a way around that. And I feel like I'm changing. I'm like growing up in a way. I'm went through a phase of like all these bright colors, and I'm moving back to who I was before, was like a lot of black and gray, and so anyway, more to be revealed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, how can people find this album, your music in general?
Yeah, Rainbow Star is on all the streaming platforms, every one of them, and then rainbowstarmusic.com. I'm also on TikTok, Insta, Facebook, not for much longer, but yeah, Rainbow Star Music on all those platforms.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so I can't believe this, but we only have one more song. It's like really flown by. It's been so awesome. I really appreciate you sharing so many, personal insights to the music. It's not often that we get to hear these things from an artist. You know, usually you just kind of hear things and then just maybe go right along, or not with your music actually. But sometimes that happens. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And the last song that we're going to play is Leeches. And I am so curious about the intro to this song, based on the name, but also the content too. So
tell them about the intro to this song. Oh wait, yeah, tell them more. Tell them about the song.
You tell them about the song.
You tell them about the song. Okay. So the intro says, "Not that anyone asked my opinion, but from here it would appear that you fear more than leeches, more than speeches, or not reaching your dreams. You fear succeeding and being loved." So it's like a kind of F you kind of to someone that, you know, I was involved with and saw that it seemed like they were emotionally unavailable, and so I wrote this song. And also, in case anyone's wondering, if you go swim at Floyd Ranch Reservoir, there are leeches. So that's here in town.
Yeah, leeches are terrible.
I mean, it's whatever. You just wear flip-flops. It's no big deal.
You get them on your legs.
No, I don't. I never have. Just wear flip-flops, problem solved. So swim.
For the record, I do not want to go anywhere where there's leeches.
Yeah, people don't.
It seems like the areas that they live in, for those of you who haven't had the distinct opportunity to be it's like in water that's not very flowy, right? I mean, it's like, because I remember as a child getting them all over me, and it's
ew.
Yeah,
okay, well, they had one.
Okay.
One.
On your hand?
Yeah, and because, you know, when you climb out, you have your hands in the muck, and then I was out there with a friend and had to pull one off her toe. And then I won't tell you, there's some more, but yeah, it's no big deal.
No, it's not. It's a big ooey gooey tick.
It's not.
It sucks blood from everywhere.
I mean, I love swimming so much that it does not matter to me.
Yeah, no.
Just wear flip-flops, not a problem. I'm telling you.
For all you listeners out there, leeches aren't that big of a deal. So, before we play this song, is there anything else, any final thoughts that you have before we wrap this show up?
I love you. I'm so grateful that you're my friend. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And, couldn't be more thankful to have you here. And so, Last song, Little Sister Radio of the hour with Rainbow Star. Her song, Leeches, off her brand new EP titled Holler Ghosts. Thanks so much for being with us, and I hope that you can be with me next time. Until then, all the best. Here's Leeches.
Not that anyone asked my opinion, but from here it would appear that the more than legions, more than speeches, or night reaching your dreams. Your fear succeeded. Being loved. Being loved. 'Cause I can't find you, and I need you. And I'm sick of watching you write songs about girls that leave you. And I can't find you. Oh, you speak in italics. Your actions seem so empty. If I speak in italics, would you finally hear me? So let's speak in italics. Lean right into the future. Will you live up to your talent? I'm not afraid to lose you. Not that anyone would blame you. Not that anyone could care. Just a couple of young star-crossed lovers writing songs to fill, songs to fill. Not that anyone asks my opinion, but from here it would appear that the fear more than legion, more than speeches, or night reaching your dreams. Fear succeeded.
P.S. And it's a rather important P.S. indeed. Musings from the Rainbow Sparkle Palace is financed almost entirely by your generous contributions. If you're gleaning valuable info from this podcast and would like to give back, I invite you to visit rainbowstarmusic.com/podcast. Scroll down till you see the button that says Buy Rainbow Sometime, and you can quickly via PayPal send some money to this podcast. And I thank you so much. It means the world to me that this podcast means something to you.